Is a $70 price tag for a new video game a fair price or a total ripoff? You've heard the arguments a million times. Games cost so much more to make now. Or just look at inflation. Everything is more expensive. And you know what? They're not wrong. But they're not fully right either. Focusing on that stuff misses the real story. The truth is, the value of a game has almost nothing to do with its budget and everything to do with a simple formula that most of us completely ignore. I've spent the last month analyzing over 50 of the biggest $70 releases, from instant classics like Baldur's Gate 3 to launch day disasters like Redfall. I've dug into their hidden costs, their marketing, and most importantly, what they actually deliver for that premium price. And in this video, I'm going to share that formula with you. We're going to break down the invisible costs you never see, debunk the single biggest myth about game value, and give you a powerful tool to decide for yourself if that next $70 game is actually worth your money. So let's start with the first piece of the puzzle, the one everyone thinks they understand but really don't: the cost. When a publisher says a game was expensive to make, we picture thousands of artists and programmers building these massive worlds. And that's true, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real cost driver, the part that truly inflates the price, is invisible. Take a game like Cyberpunk 2077. Its development budget was huge, around $174 million. But its marketing budget was estimated to be even higher, at nearly $200 million. You're not just paying for the game, you're paying for the Super Bowl ads, the YouTuber sponsorships, and the giant billboards in Times Square. But here's the bigger piece: the publisher's risk. For every Elden Ring that sells 20 million copies, a publisher might have funded 2 or 3 other games that completely flopped, losing them tens of millions of dollars. That $70 you pay for a guaranteed hit is partially subsidizing the cost of their failures. Understanding this matters because it shifts your perspective. The price isn't just about the quality of the one game you're buying. It's about funding a massive, high-risk entertainment machine. The question then becomes, does the final product justify its role in that machine? But knowing where the money goes is only half the battle. Because even if a game cost $1 billion to make, that doesn't mean it's worth your $70. And that brings us to the single biggest myth in valuing games, and the most important part of this video. This is the cost per hour argument. People say, well, if I get 100 hours out of a $70 game, that's less than $1 an hour. It's a great deal. This logic is simple, popular, and completely flawed. It treats all time as equal, which it absolutely is not. Let's compare two games. Game A is a 100-hour open-world game filled with repetitive collect 10 bear pelts quests. Sure, it's long, but how many of those hours are memorable? How many are just filler? Now, Game B is a 12-hour, tightly designed masterpiece. Every single moment is handcrafted, pushing the story forward, introducing new mechanics, and creating unforgettable memories. Which one has more value? This is where we introduce the experience density formula. Experience density measures the concentration of quality within your playtime. A high-density game packs more value into every hour. A 15-hour game with an experience density of 10 out of 10 is infinitely more valuable than a 200-hour game with a density of 2 out of 10. This formula is your new weapon. Stop asking, how long is it? And start asking, how dense is it? Is it a vast, shallow ocean or a deep, rich well? A $70 price tag for a high-density experience like God of War Ragnarok can feel like a bargain. The same price for a low-density, bloated game feels like a ripoff. This is the true measure of value. So now you have the concept of experience density, which is a complete game changer. But publishers have one last psychological trick up their sleeves to make that $70 price tag seem like an absolute bargain. Have you ever noticed how there's almost never just one version of a game anymore? There's always a deluxe edition with a few skins and an ultimate edition with the season pass. This isn't just about upselling you. It's a psychological tactic called price anchoring. Your brain doesn't know what a video game is supposed to cost. So when you see a $110 Ultimate Edition, that price anchors in your mind as the top end. Suddenly, the $90 Deluxe Edition seems more reasonable, and compared to both of them, the $70 Standard Edition looks like the smart, sensible, almost a deal choice. They create the $100 version not just for the few people who will buy it, but to make the $70 version feel more palatable to everyone else. They make the $100 version not just for the few people who will buy it, but to make the $70 version feel more palatable to everyone else. This matters because it's a deliberate strategy to manage your perception of the base price. By being aware of this tactic, you can mentally dismiss the decoys. The only thing that matters is whether the Standard Edition, on its own, provides enough experience density to be worth your $70. Don't let the $100 version trick your brain into thinking the $70 version is a good deal. You decide that with your new formula. So let's put it all together. The $70 price tag isn't just about inflation. It's driven by massive, invisible marketing and risk costs. The old way of measuring value, cost per hour, is a trap. The real key is the experience density formula, judging a game by the quality of its hours, not the quantity. And publishers are using psychological anchors to make that base price feel more reasonable. You came here today probably wondering if you're being ripped off. You're leaving with a framework to answer that question for yourself, for any game from now on. You're no longer just a consumer reacting to a price tag. You're an analyst who can see past the marketing and the decoys to find the real value. If this analysis gave you a new way to look at games, a like on the video is hugely appreciated. And now I want to turn the formula over to you. Using the concept of experience density, what game do you think is the most valuable you've ever played? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.